A few years ago, I had an encounter when I was traveling from Australia via London, my birthplace, to America. Even though I went through all the checks in Australia, I was held up in England for 3 months and so had to find accommodation fast. I was introduced to a woman who had a young daughter and wanted to rent a room. One day she introduced me to her cousin at her cottage, and during that visit I had an encounter with what I can only call a light being. It stood in front of me and looked about 2,100 meters or 7 foot tall. My friend had spoken of meditation, and so I knew she and her cousin were into that. Although my family was religious, I was not. I was also not interested in meditation or had ever done it before. When this encounter happened, my new friends were there with me, and so I froze, not knowing what to do for fear of embarrassment. I decided to let whatever was happening happen. I felt waves of love, understanding, and what I called acceptance at the time. This light being surrounded me with love. I had never known such love and understanding existed. It was overwhelming. My heart, all of me, wanted to go to it, but I felt I couldn't move because my new friends were right there. The draw was too great, and the next thing I knew, I left my body through the crown of the head and could not feel the body anymore. I was in a sea of light. It was not frightening. It was peaceful and loving. I saw others there, but everything was surrounded by a mist of light. I don't know how long I was there, but when I returned, my friends were putting on a cup of tea, and one asked, "Well, did you see it?" I nearly jumped out of my skin. I answered, "See what?" She said, "The light being that was right in front of you." I said, "Yes, I did." My friends were not fazed, and for some reason wouldn't talk about it again. So I was left wondering for a few years. I can now understand why I had the encounter with the light, because when it was happening, I knew somehow without words that whatever I thought I may have done or said didn't really matter to it. It was loving every part of me. There was so much love coming in never-ending waves. I thought at the time that this energetic being was accepting any good or bad I may have done, or anything that wouldn't be acceptable to others. Although through recent realizations, I have found that it wasn't accepting me, it was actually that the dualistic mind didn't exist in its world, this world of pure energy. It was not caught in the judgments and beliefs of the mind. It simply had no identification with mind. It was actually coming from our true home, the energy of what we truly are. I now realize that I am not the mind, that we are not the mind. The only thing separating us from what we really are is our identification with the mind, bringing with it all its judgments and beliefs. We have been brought up to identify with the mind and all its judgments, and this is classed as normal. Similar to the being of light, the mind is not who we really are. The mind is simply a thing that we use. We are the light that shines beyond the dualistic mind and is what animates the body. This energy is not something we attain. It is something we realize that we already are. This realization engulfs you, and you are no longer identified with the mind, but are the realization of who you truly are. This energy is here right now. It is not something we attain. It is something we realize that we are. There is simply no one that has ever existed in the physical world who has done what the mind deems as something good or bad, no matter what it is, no matter how harsh it may seem, no matter how bad it may seem, no matter what a person has done, whether it is minutely harmful or excessively harmful. There is no one that is not accepted by this energy. It is pure, sheer love, and solely that alone. We have identified with the dualistic mind the good and the bad of the dualistic world. The ultimate realization is that there is really no good or bad, that what is happening is absolutely perfect, always has been, and always will be. Whether we think it's good or bad, nevertheless, it still is a part of the energetic whole, which also includes the balance of all there is. This is the mystery and the dilemma. This is why it seems so hard to come to realization, because the mind only knows good and bad, and we have accepted that as who we are. Our home is energetic. It is pure energy. It is pure love. It will always love you, no matter what you do or say. It is just the way it is. It is pure and complete love. The all includes all things, whether we believe them to be good or bad. It has got nothing to do with understanding. This is because understanding comes from the mind. It is simply an energetic movement. When we release the projections of the dualistic mind, there are no beliefs, because there is no mind to fuel those beliefs. It is very similar to when you fall in love. When you fall in love with someone, it is more energetic. You really can't understand why. There's no reasoning. You just feel it. This is similar to what I'm talking about. You can't understand it. There is no technique or practice. It is simply a realization that what we are and what we live in and works through us is already perfect. It is just that realization. Illumination is simply the realization of who we really are, which can be realized by each one of us right now in this very instant. When you truly realize that you are not the mind, that you are the energy behind that, only then can you fully see what I'm pointing to. If you enjoyed this video, hit the thumbs up button, as it not only provides me with feedback on your preferences, but also helps these videos reach a wider global audience. Thank you for watching.